Hello, my name is Jennifer, and welcome to part 2 of Mountain Home, my collaboration with IronicSims. If you haven't already, go over and check out his part because he is the one who did the build, and I am just finishing up the inside. Obviously, I put some walls in there so that we could have a separate private bedroom. There was already a bathroom area, and I decided to add a little spot to put a closet, which is essentially at the end of the hall. And it's a very small bedroom, so the bed is taking advantage of the fact that we have very good routing in Sims 4, and it's a two tile bed on a 3 tile space. I obviously have move objects on, otherwise it would work in this case, but I'm not sure about those tables there, but they're nice small ones. They came with the bowling pack, so they fit nicely into small spaces, and they look like they're actually meant to fit in there. And I chose the green, and I went with sort of the green color in this room to match the mountain home theme, and the fact that when you take a look at the outside, and you'll have seen it during the build, there's lots of greenery and rocks and stuff like that, hence mountain home being the name. And I picked up that green by using that painting from City Living to pick up the green from the accent wall in the bedroom. And then I just thought I would add a mirror. And I'm looking for lights here. That's what I'm doing. Oh, and I put that's from City Living. That big fancy light. I just thought it looked like a kind of neat spot. In the end, I actually take that chandelier out of the room. And it takes me there. I picked the floor, and I am one for tending to have the same wood floor or whatever throughout the place, except for that in the bathroom and kitchen area, I tend to match the tile. But that's because in real life, I'm not a big fan of carpet because I'm allergic to it, so I don't tend to put it in my builds because I prefer not to have it in my home in real life either. But I very rarely, but do occasionally use carpeting in the game. So here I am starting to work on the bathroom. And that tile, I believe, is from Spot A, and I decide to keep that stone wall on that portion of the wall to match where it was on the other side, because that is actually what's on the outside of the house. But again, the flooring is also from Spot A, and so is that shower, I believe. Yes, it is. And I do end up moving the shower because I don't like the location there. But it takes me a little bit of time before I decide that maybe that's not the right place for it. And I put it over in you'll see right there that I've moved it over there. But I add that little light there just so that there's some actual light with the shower, because I find that little pot light in the ceiling doesn't really brighten that area up very well. And so I put a tub in here. I tend to keep the tub and the shower separate. I don't use the all-in-ones that much because if you do have Spot A, the special, unless they've changed this, you can't have the special, or in the past you couldn't have the special baths that came with Spot A in the all-in-one baths. You could only have them in the standalone baths. And so I often, if I have a house with the bathtub, I will put the bathtubs separately, just to help with that, so that they can actually take advantage of those special baths that came with Spot A, like the mud baths and the the muscle relaxing soaks and all those various things that you can do with Spot A. So I just trying to do a little bit of decoration here. In the end, I do have to move a few things around because I do play test this after I do the build, and there are a few things that don't work very well. One of which is that shelf over the toilet. I end up having to put it a little bit further over the bathtub, but you don't see that in this build because I only noticed that in my playtest of the house. So the version of the house that is up on the gallery will be slightly different because I had to tweak it a little bit and move things around, and I found it very hard to work in the really small space with the walls up, so I just tried to cut out some of the ones where essentially the walls got in my way and whatnot. So I think that was it for I just rearranged it because I had to try and get the lights up on the wall. I was thinking I was done in the bathroom, but not quite done. Still looking for a couple of, I decide to move that robe over there, and I think in the end it ends up over by the bathtub. So now we're in the main living area, which is going to be an open living space, kitchen, and living area. There is no actual dining area because I put in a island, and that's what I end up using as the eating area of the place. And I did actually create a sim to live in here because I usually like to have a sim that I know is going to, and she's sitting down there. You can see her little plumb bob out the window, that I know is going to live in there, because then I keep in mind their traits and whatnot when I'm making the build. So in this case, her name is Madisyn James, and she wants to be a chef, so she has to have an okay space to be able to cook in this kitchen. So she has a decent fridge and a decent stove, not overly expensive, but something. She's also creative and outgoing, and she's clean, so she's gonna want to be keeping this place clean. So in this case, I start with 3 island slots, 2 of which are corner ones. And then I realized maybe that won't work with the door, so I never got around to testing it. It may have worked, but I wasn't sure, so I decided to make more space and not do that. And I think about it, I don't remember if I added a garbage can in this. And if I did, I think I did it after and not in the actual build itself. Because that's one of the things that people tend to forget all the time is garbage cans when they're doing building. And I am equally to blame for leaving out the garbage cans when I'm doing a build. So here I'm trying to figure out what cabinets. I don't match the cabinets to what's used down below. That cabinet down below, I'm pretty sure is a base game cabinet, or counter I should say. The counter is base game counter, and it actually matches a bar, which I don't use in this place, but the cabinets, the upper cabinets, are from the Cool Kitchen stuff pack. And here I'm trying to look for a couple of little decor type items. I tend to prefer to keep the decor off the counter, though I do put some in on the counters here, and in the end that's another thing that's in my way, and she can't cook, so I end up having to take something away because there actually isn't enough space for her to cook here. I end up leaving that little plate there, but I grabbed a little knife block and I had to take that out. That just did not allow her to use any of the counter space, and I think I end up moving one of those stools, and that also helps with giving her some room to work in the kitchen. So, and then I realized there's not a lot of room for a couch and a TV, so I drag that all over a little bit as best I can. As I said, I do have move objects on while I'm doing this, but you need to move objects on for the rest of the build, because when you watch the other part of the build, you'll see there's a lot of special things that were done to make it look like a mountain by IronicSims, and you definitely need move objects for that. Already, I actually used it when I placed it on the lot. So I decided to put that little fireplace in. I can't remember, I wasn't paying attention. I think that's maybe with City Living, if I remember correctly. I can't recall for sure. And that little vase, I don't know, maroon or whatever color vase that is, it ends up going outside, and I think in the end I end up not using that vase and I replace it with something else. And that mirror gets changed colors. When I'm taking screenshots, I realize I don't like the color, so I change it. But the mirror itself does stay, just gets tweaked a little bit with respect to the color. So I think that's where I decide I'm going to put it outside on the front patio area, because you have to come up some stairs to get into the house. It's quite far up. And then this is the back door, but that's where I put the shoes, and I end up grabbing, that's one of those little chests that you can actually put all your collectibles in. So I like to use those in most of my builds because I like to have my Sims collect a lot, and it's nice to put it in there so that it's not cluttering up their inventory, particularly now that you can give food from your inventory and it'll look at all of the flowers and fruits and vegetables that are in your inventory and include that in there. So I usually tend to like to put as much as possible into that chest there. That came with a free update. That was part of that trick or treat thing for, I think, the very first Halloween that Sims was out, if I remember correctly. I'm not 100% sure. There's that little table from the bowling night stuff pack again that is really good because it's small, and so it really fits into small spaces very well, and it visually looks small. Obviously it's supposed to take the same amount of space as everything else, but it visually looks smaller, so it's kind of nice when you're building in a small space to have something like that. And I think both those shelves and the flowers are from the Cool Kitchen stuff pack too. I realize that I actually use quite a lot of stuff from Cool Kitchen when I'm decorating, because it's quite good, particularly in kitchen areas, as you would expect with a name like Cool Kitchen. And I'm back in the back patio area, and I put the lights out there, and I use the same lights in both places because I thought, most people probably would have the same lights. And I grab a little tiny little blue. Blue is sort of the theme that I use out here. Barbecue and a little meditation stool and the yoga mat, and I definitely checked the yoga mat. I think I checked. I'm not 100% sure if I checked that yoga stool, but hopefully it works. If I didn't check it, I will quickly check it before I upload to the gallery. And there's a little music, the wind chimes that came with the backyard stuff, which is kind of nice. It gives your Sims a nice moodlet, and because there's not a lot of room in the house for very many skill building objects, I put a chess table out here on the front patio that they can use as they are coming in. And so you'll see this little vase moves everywhere while I try, and then I decide because she's creative, she's probably going to need something to be creative with, so I stuck an easel out there. Easels are also a really good way to make money in the game, because they don't make that much money with the cooking career, and that's what you need to go into to complete the cooking aspiration. You need to at least get to level 8. And here I'm playing around with that. I tried so hard to keep that in the build, but in the end, as I said, I do get rid of it. I think I put a bird bath in its place. That's what I do. And then I put the bird feeder in the place of the that wheelbarrow thing with the blue theme going on there. But I did actually have my sim put some food in the bird feeder when I was checking to see, whether it worked or not, and she got attacked by birds. So she was a little bit angry there after that happened. But I go back a little bit to finish up the bedroom a little bit with a couple of lights beside the mirror and a rug, an area rug, and I'm just trying to look around and check to see everything, and you can kind of see the floor plan, and there's that pool. I do actually end up moving the pool ladder, the jump ladder, so that you can get out, because I had her go in the pool and she couldn't get out of the pool. So now your Sims can get out of the pool. So here she is enjoying her new home in the living space, reading a book, and you can see it's pretty small, and that mirror is still black there, but later on in the screenshots I did later, you'll see I changed it. I'm pretty sure to sort of a cream color, and I got her one of those gaming consoles that came with City Living, so she's playing a little bit by herself. And it looks like she's having a good time enjoying her new house. And here we have the floor plan. You can see the open living area, the bedroom, and the bathroom. And there's the view from the front patio as you come in the house. And we'll go around towards the back and see that little pool. And then there's the back patio, which also has a eating area. So I guess that's where their formal eating area is, where her formal eating area is, outside. And this is the morning, so she's sitting there having a glass of water, as they do a lot in Sims, and she's having some salad for breakfast, as you do. And you can see the computer is usable, and she's sitting by her nice fireplace, which I had her light before she watched some TV. And there's another shot of the bathroom from the one view, and you can see the shower from the other angle. And there's the bedroom, and you can sort of see out the bedroom window there, which is nice big windows, but I would think it's private because it's really far up, so you don't need to have the blinds shut all the way. I want to thank IronicSims for coming up with the idea for the collab and the idea of the mountain home and doing this collab with me, and I hope you enjoyed. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye! If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them below. I'd love to see them. If you like the video, please leave a like. And if you'd like to see more, please subscribe if you haven't already done so. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks very much.